Welcome back to the Tribal Lines podcast, a podcast that you might watch at a carnival for laughs while eating a scone. Um, I am Steven Lupo, your co-host, with my other co-host, Pat Johnson.
What's up? I don't like scones, and I've never had one at a carnival. Don't know where Jeff got that one from. I don't hate it only because it feels very Jeff.
It does. It feels so
No,
Jeff. I can't believe he said that. I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know what carnivals he's been to. I don't think anyone is going to a carnival playing that immunity challenge in the middle of eating a scone.
Yeah, I mean, do they have scones at carnivals? Is that like a thing?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I think if Jeff should have given all of them a scone to eat while they were in the middle of the challenge. See it.
I mean, it's better than eating a fish eye.
Yeah, better than a fish eye.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us for this podcast. We're excited to recap episode 10, especially because we have Mr. Brucey Brucef, as Drew says, going home with an idol in his pocket. Classic Bruce. I love how almost every guest host and also Pat, throughout many of the past few podcasts, has said that Bruce just feels like someone who would go home with an idol in his pocket, and long and behold, he is going home with an idol in his pocket.
And before we get all the way into it, what I kind of want to say about that and why that was kind of like my speculation about Bruce throughout the season was not because of like any edit read or like anything like that. It just comes down to you look at a guy like Bruce, and when there's someone that's so confident in their ways of playing the game and doing things, I think all it took was for someone to find a crack, be able to rock with it, for him to just become vulnerable in that moment. And he does a not a deep dive, but like an exit interview with Rob his podcast,
Mhm.
and talks about that he was 99% sure that he was going to play it the whole time. You let that 1% win. You can't let that 1%
Oh
win.
my God.
He was going to play it. I don't know why he didn't. I would have played it, especially with the dynamics
I
of
understand why. I understand why he would, but it didn't work out for him. Like there's a slim, like I understand that playing the idol, not playing the idol is so stupid, because of how everyone was just wanted Bruce out from the beginning, and he should have known that people were lying to him. But the fact that he thought there was another plan going on, let's say that plan was true and was actually going to happen, he would have made the absolute right move, because then Julie would have been going home and he would have his idol for another round. If he did play the idol and he stayed in and was in the final seven, unless he won all the way to the end, I don't see how he would not be a target every single tribal council. So he was just trying to make it one round further with his idol if possible, because he knew that if he played his idol, he's pretty much dead in the water in the next couple of votes.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I feel for Bruce in a sense too, because it's one of those things. It really sucks to know that everyone that you think you're working with isn't reciprocating the same energy. Like everyone, like it's like a crappy feeling. It's like, when you're like a kid, like at gym class, and like you think you're like in with everyone else on the basketball court, but really they just think you suck, right? You know what I mean? That's why they don't pass you the ball. That's why, you know what I mean? I feel like they were never passing Bruce the ball, but he always thought that he had the ball. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just one of those things where he talks about it too with Rob, has a podcast a bit about if he could go back, he would change the way that he approaches and talks to like the younger generation. And I think that was his biggest flaw, because not only because I gave Bruce a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, if I was out there, I probably would have loved Bruce. Like I like Bruce as a person. He was compelling. He was a fun character to have. I'm glad that he didn't waste his second shot. Like he really like had his foot on the gas, which is something that I love to see in a player. But I think that there were just some things that made him too big of a target. But at the same time, the things that made him a target are like the same things that I would use to take someone to the end.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know if it's a great move for Emily, so I kind of want to, we'll definitely dissect that as the episode, grows a bit. But I mean, I don't know that that was the best move to take out Bruce.
It's not. It was an emotional move. Everyone was just annoyed with Bruce being there. They didn't want to have to trust him, so they just wanted to get him out, not have him in the game anymore, and then work from wherever they are from there.
Wait for the
But
reboot.
when you're this far in, final eight, like people think, oh, there's still so many rounds left until the end. I mean, there's not that many rounds left, and
There's three
doesn't
normal
have
votes.
Bruce doesn't have anyone. If somebody wanted to work with Bruce and make a move, Bruce would do it. And the first person to go to Bruce, try to make a move with him, and successfully make that move, Bruce now that person has Bruce's undying loyalty. So it would be smart to use him, take him to the end. Nobody wants to vote for him. And whoever is the one who brought him to the end is probably going to be the one who gets all of the jury votes. Because people will see that as a good strategic move to take someone that nobody wants to vote for. So I think it's really stupid that they tried to get rid of Bruce. I guess they thought he was a threat because of his immunity wins, because he had an idol. But as you can see from many past seasons, there's people who can win immunity challenges, can play idols correctly, and still not get jury votes in the end. So yeah, I thought it was a dumb move to get out of Bruce, but
Yeah. And we'll see where it we'll see how it affects everybody else. I think that it puts everybody that's not a Reba almost dead in the water.
mm-hmm.
I don't see how Reba fumbles this bag. I mean, and when I say fumble this bag, I'm not saying the four of them need to beat the final four. But if a Reba doesn't win, something went awfully wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there should be two of them in the final three. Like if you look at least.
Yeah, like in the scenes for the next episode, pretty much every single like scene from the next episode that it showed was a Reba member getting their name thrown out and seeming like it's only Rebas with their names thrown out, and it's going to be a Reba going home. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if Reba and Emily are final five, or Reba and Jake, or Reba and Katura, something. I feel like the next two vote outs are just going to be another Bella or Emily. I don't know.
I would hate that though, because I think although Reba is in a good spot because they do have the numbers, they were able to stick this core four from the beginning of the game to at least the final seven at this point. It's time to make a move, because you can't, if I'm Drew, I don't want to sit next to D and Julie. You're splitting jury votes at that point. Like
exactly.
Right there, because you have nobody on the jury that's a Reba as well. You know what I mean? Because if I'm someone like D, right? If I feel like I'm maybe in the power position, but I feel like Drew feels the same way. If you feel like you're in this power position, right? You need to take the shot. You need to make the move, because hopefully your Reba people will respect the move that you made as a good game move, and they'll vote for you. Because could you imagine, like, Katura makes it to the end and it's all a bunch of Bellows and Emily and Caleb, and they all want to vote for Katura to win the game because
good point.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where they need to put some people on the jury because if there's 3 out of 4 of them in the final 3, how does that really? It actually lessens your chances. I want to sit, if I'm D, Drew, Austin, Julie, I want to sit with Katura and Jake at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like what Jam Jam was saying last season, how like he was messing around with Carolyn, saying like, "Oh, we need some Tika members on the jury." It's kind of like that. You want some Rebas on the jury because they'll probably still want to vote for you, as long as because they'll understand it's a game move, most likely. Well, hopefully, depending on how it ends up shaking out. In my personal opinion, I think the first person on Reba who would take a shot at another Reba member is Drew.
Yes. Or D.
You think that too? Yeah, maybe D, but I don't know. I feel like D would only take a shot if a shot was taken at her. I feel like Drew would be the first one to take a shot at D, and then if she found out, then she would take a shot back at Drew, or something like that.
And I think that might be how it happens, though. Like, yeah. I do ultimately see a world where Drew crashes and burns.
I could also see Drew going after Julie. Really any of the girls, because he did throw out Julie's name in the scenes from the next episode. So but then there was D saying like Julie like has my fate in her hands. So like I don't know exactly what's going to shake down. One of those names being thrown out is not even going to be a possibility. One of them is just like, oh, it was thrown out. It's going to be shown like in the beginning of the episode, and then people are going to forget about it. But I don't know. I think one of them could be a big part of the episode. I think it could be either one of the Rebas or one of the Bellows. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, will it be this Reba or this Reba? I think it'll still be, will it be Reba or will it be a Bellow? And I feel like it'll end up being a Bellow.
Yeah. I really hope to see like a flip somewhere. I
Me
want
too.
to I would like to I want to see these idols come out. I want to you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I want to see some game because this season's been great. A lot of good strategic gameplay, a lot of good characters. The 90 minutes has been wonderful, but I want like a big move at the end of the game.
Millie Flippin's got to flip the vote.
And that's who I think can really be a culprit of helping Drew pull off something because we always see how they're really tight with Austin as well. Um, do you think Drew wants to even sit next to Austin? Like, do you think that he wants to, you know, to do that?
To be honest, I think Drew wants to sit with um his Rebas. I think he wants to get one of them out early enough to have it be his move. But I think he is. A lot of people say he's cocky, but I don't know. I think he's like sometimes cocky, sometimes confident. But I think he's just so confident in his ability to give a speech at Final Tribal to show that he played the best game, that he was the one responsible for a lot of these moves. I think he doesn't care who he sits next to at the end as long as he's at the end because he probably thinks he can beat anybody. That's how I think. I still think he'll probably go after at least one Reba so that he can add another move to his resume. But I don't think he's thinking about, oh, like I don't want to be sitting next to Austin because like he could beat me. Like I don't think he's thinking that way. I think he's thinking if I get rid of Ariba, that's another remove on my resume. But I don't think he's like thinking like, oh, I can't beat D. That's why I need to take D out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see it. Speaking of the Rebus and speaking of, episode 10, getting into that a bit, I mean, Drew might go after, a Julie. Julie might go after a Drew in a sense. But we do see that they have a nice emotional moment out there on the beach to kind of open up the episode. Julie's kind of hurting because she's not used to lying to people. It's, it takes a toll, Something that I've thought about too is when they do a returnee season, I feel like since like the new era, they're much more like closer, like people from 44 hang out with people from 43. Like I'm really interested to see a returnee season because it's kind of like in the live reality game world. It's like you play with these people and they become your good friends and it's like the next time you play with them again it's like a bit harder to like make those moves because you do have that emotional and attachment and that friendship attachment. But we see that this is something probably Julie doesn't do in her everyday life. She's not probably like this big schemy lying person. She's out there, it's her second chance. It's kind of what she's out there. That's kind of her story angle. And I did like to see Drew get a bit vulnerable because we have seen like cocky Drew, we've seen vulnerable Drew. We've seen a lot of different sides of Drew. Like they really did a really good job at painting a picture of a lot of these characters as more than one dimensional, which is always fun to see.
What here's a interesting conspiracy theory, I guess, about Drew and Julie's emotional moment. I feel like Drew was faking it. I think he was like faking like being sad and just so that Julie wouldn't ever turn on him.
See,
Um,
I don't. I think there's a. I think it was real emotion, but I think you like that has to be a thought though too. It's like I can weaponize this in a sense.
I think it was real emotion, but I don't think it was real tears. I think he was like faking the crying, but he truly meant like, oh, I don't want. I feel bad. Like I don't want to have anybody break up. But I think he was like he might have been like emotional that day, but like I don't
Yeah.
know if he was emotional about specifically that. I don't know. But I think he was using it for game reasons. He just doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would like.
Hmm.
He seems like very analytical, very strategic in his thinking, and less so emotional. I don't think he'll make moves emotionally.
No,
Uh,
I don't think so either.
yeah,
But I do see like I don't know. This Reba 4 is like really tight. like they all really like each other. Like it's gonna be tough to make that move. I really want to see it. I really do want to see it. But something that has been at the forefront of like my like viewing all year, like something that I've been focused on the whole time is Bruce and Katura. I love the rivalry. I love it, and I this is my favorite conversation in Survivor, like ever, is when he's like act like when Bruce is trying to act. He's like, "Was that believable? Was that believable, Katura?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, that was the stupidest thing that Bruce could have done. Was
Literally the stupidest thing.
like, I'm cool. Like I bet that Katura believed him until she didn't. Like like,
Right,
'cause
that confessional of like I never believed Bruce for a
come
second.
on. I
God.
mean, and maybe not. Maybe she didn't believe him because she never believes the thing that Bruce says anyway, and she said that as well. But like, I don't know. I was watching. I believed it, and maybe that's something about me. I don't know. But like,
I believed it too. I
I
believed it.
believe it. Jake believed it. And Drew believed it. Also, everyone believed it that found out, except for Katsura. Um,
Mhm.
I think I
Maybe
think there's a world where that works if he like doesn't
oh,
let
100%.
everyone know it's a lie. It's a beautiful move. Great. That would have been awesome for Bruce.
100%. I think if he literally told nobody, like not even Katura, then I think it would have worked. I think everyone would have put their votes on Bruce, and I think Bruce would have played the idol and gotten out of Reba. I really think so. I don't like of all people, you tell Katura that it's a lie. Like, are you kidding me?
But then he
Like,
lies to Jake, and I'm like, Jake's the only one who's cared to keep you in this game until like a certain point. Like I know Jake's kind of done with him at this point in the game, but like prior to that, like Jake's said nothing but good things about Bruce. Has always wanted to work with Bruce, and I feel like Bruce always just kind of like viewed him as like what like someone he could just drag along.
right.
I'm glad that Jake's still in the game and Bruce is out.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. No, I feel like Jake probably told everyone that he likes acting and stuff like that.
Probably, it probably definitely came out.
Because I mean he said that he was a lawyer, so why lie about the acting?
Yeah.
That's really something fun to talk about. So
Acting can low key be more intimidating though. I might be more scared of an
that's
actor.
true. That's true. Yeah. But I think if people knew that if Bruce knew he was an actor, I feel like if you were going to tell someone that it was actually a lie, but try to get them to sell it, telling Jake that and then saying, "Hey, Jake, like pretend like this is the truth and go to the Rebas," I think he would have been able to do it. But in terms of who um, probably is most likely to go share this information with Ariba, I think Bruce was spot on with saying that to Jake. I mean, honestly, I feel like everyone would have told the Rebas because the Rebas have everyone wrapped around their finger. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't lie to if he didn't like tell Katura that it was a lie, I think Katura would have still went to go tell the Rebas. I think Emily would have went to go tell the Rebas. So I just think he should have kept it as his own lie and shouldn't have told anyone that it was just lie. It really could have worked. I can't believe he made up such a perfect lie and then told people it was a lie. Like especially Katura of all people. It's just I can't believe that. That was so stupid.
Yeah. And it really just gets like too far out of reach for this to work for Bruce when they do end up going to the sanctuary. But let's get into this reward challenge a bit. Happy for Emily, for sure. Tough,
Mhm.
tough decision. When you have to make, the loved one letters are very sacred, especially when you don't have the visits. It's the closest thing to the people that, that you're missing when you're out there. So
I think
you
the
think about the
reward
choice.
itself, I think it was really funny how like the reward was turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, apple pie,
Yeah.
all stuff that you would see on Thanksgiving. I think they might have tried to make that so that it would air like right before Thanksgiving. And I think they botched that. Like that could have been it. I don't know. Because like they've never had a Thanksgiving spread before on Survivor, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. They probably got it on the wrong episode.
Probably. But they also got, a pillow and a blanket, which is like everything when you're out there. Like that's
I
like
thought it was funny the way Jeff said it. He was like pillows, blanket, How does that sound? Sound good enough? Like everyone's like, oh yeah, okay. Like they expect
Sure,
there to be more.
sure, sure. But yeah, I mean, Emily and Austin end up being, neck and neck in this challenge. Austin drops. Emily finally like wins her first like individual challenge, only her third win of the season. A lot of lows out there for Emily. So when she gets a high, you see it all over her face. She has some great memes of her out there now
Oh
with
yeah.
her crying. And I never thought that she was going to be a huge like emotional person, but we've seen a lot of like emotional Emily, and I like emotional Emily. Like I think that she's more human like when she shows her emotions because at first, like the first episode, I wasn't a big Emily fan. I was like, she's badass and I respect her because she's someone who speaks her mind, doesn't give a fuck what other people think, and that's always cool in my book. But I was like, maybe not my cup of tea. But now I'm drinking the Emily juice. I'm eating the flipping burger, man. Like
Oh,
it's
100%, 100%. Yeah, like I remember when I was at the watch party for episode one, and when Emily, like before even the first tribal council, I like told the people I was sitting around and talking to about the episode that if Emily Flippin is in the majority during this season, is in control of this game, I'm going to like stop watching. Like I do not want to see that. I was so, like I hated Emily episode one. She was just playing so bad. Like she said what she wanted to say, but like the stuff that she was like going out and saying was just like so bad for her game. Like I understand if you're like direct and it's good for your game, but she was just playing terrible. And then as the episodes go along, I grew more and more in love with Emily, and now like honestly, she's one of my favorite players on the season, and I would love for her to win. Honestly,
Me too. I would love an Emily win. It's gonna be tough, but I would love an Emily win. How do you think about her pick? She goes for a girls' night. She picks Sarah D. Julie Katura was shocked that she was picked. It made
mm-hmm.
me feel good though that that she was picked like when she was thinking that she wouldn't be picked because that's always like a good feeling. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like it was wholesome. I liked it. But
I don't know if it's I don't know if it was like I mean it didn't have any impact, but I don't know if it was smart for her to be like, oh, I didn't think I would get picked. She's like, oh, why? Because you don't think I'm close with you? Like, are you going to target me? Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, I feel like if you're working with someone, you shouldn't be shocked if they pick you on a reward.
I just
Uh,
don't know who Katura is working with,
yeah, me. Everyone's working with Reba. Everyone.
and everyone thinks they're like the fifth in Reba,
They're the
and that's
fifth.
not even a good place to be.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Reba has everyone wrapped around their fingers. They're playing a great game. It went from the first half of the season being really exciting to the second half of the season being really boring and just being like which Bella was going to be next.
Yeah.
But it sucks that sometimes boring parts of seasons are because of good gameplay by certain people.
You know who would have saved this season
Who,
if Brando didn't get swap fucked?
yeah, that could have
I
been.
think I think Brando going fucked all of Bella.
Uh huh. Yeah, because then well, Kellie didn't have someone, and then I feel like if he didn't get swap fucked, that we could have had someone like Bruce or Katura or Kendra or someone like end up being the ones swap fucked, and it would be a whole different dynamic.
I would
Um,
just like to see. I would have liked to see like with these, with Drew and D and the Reba Four being like gamers in a sense. Like I would have really liked to see like a Brando and Kelly coalition against that, rather than like Reba Four versus like a bunch of people that don't know how to work with one another.
I would have liked to see like honestly, I would have liked to see something similar to 44, where it was like two alliances going at it, and like there would be two people from one alliance going back to back, and then the people in the middle would go to the other side and vote them out. Like if Caleb and Emily were still in, and they just went back and forth between Bello and Reba. That I think that would be a more exciting season.
Like if there was like a Bello Four of like Brando, Kelly, Jake, and Kendra, and then like a Bello, like I mean a Reba Four, and then you had like Emily and like Caleb in the middle. Like that would have been really fun.
Mm-hmm.
but we end up getting like a bunch of people that just like are allergic to each other, that just like can't work with one another, which made, the Reba Fours lives a lot easier. They don't even have to eat each other, and they're at 7 already. You know what I mean? Like, because they're just eating themselves, Bellows. Like they were just fucking themselves by not being able to continue, to make a plan together, to be able to do something, because you can't just like be your own person out there and that's it. Like you have to, you know, be a part of something. If you're not a part of something, that's not good.
Right. And imagine if Sean didn't quit. That game could have been different.
A lot of things would have been different if that Lulu trip was.
Yeah, seriously. So what do you think about the picks that Emily chose? So first was Julie, then was Katura, then was Dee, not knowing exactly how many people she could take on the reward. Like, what do you think her reasoning was, her true reasoning behind each of the picks? And like, yeah, what do you think? And the order that she picked them in.
Um, to be honest, I don't know what she was thinking. The best thing I can think of is like looking from what we know, why would she pick that person, right? Um, because for me, in the beginning of the episode, when she takes like when she's talking to Katura about wanting to make a move, possibly like on the Rivas, I
Mhm.
think it would have been a really good opportunity to take someone like you take maybe like one Reba, like maybe like the Reba that you think is willing to flip, right? Like if she takes like someone like Drew, who might who might flip, right? Who might go after his alliance. She takes like Drew and like a Katura and like
Well,
maybe
the thing is, I don't think at that point, I don't think Emily thought that any of the Rebas would want to turn on each other because Drew and Austin didn't want to turn on the girls,
yeah.
and the girls probably aren't like the girls have never thrown out the idea to anyone about taking out one of the guys. So she probably thinks they're super tight. Like the only chance I have to get any of them out this round is if I work with all of the remaining Bellows. So I
Yeah.
don't know if
I don't
this
know.
award was specifically to discuss the vote. I think it was for other reasons.
Yeah. I don't know. But what I do know is that I loved it because it led us to boys' night. And that was a fucking awesome.
Boys' night. Oh my god. I loved boys' night. At boys' night, they were talking about like burping and farting, Drew flexing in the camera, um, guys being dudes, just
I
like
saw boys' night. I was like, there's no way any of these dudes are winning Survivor.
yeah. The music video though that they with oh my god, that was so great by the Survivor production team to
Yeah.
edit it like a music video with the music and all the like the still shots of Drew. They were talking about like action movies, food, chopping the bamboo, chopping the coconuts, fist bumping each other constantly, which I think that was all just a bunch of clips brought together from like multiple episodes. I don't think they were just fist bumping throughout Boys Night. I think that was just a bunch of different guys fist bumping throughout the season.
Very
Uh,
possible. But I mean, but to answer your question mainly, I don't really know why she would pick Julie and D. I mean, I guess unless she wanted to really just have like a girls' night and really get close with all three of those girls for whatever reason that to benefit her game. Like I don't did she really even talk about why she chose those people?
so I think she chose Julie because when she heard about the letters from home, Julie, we found out earlier in the episode that Julie just had a terrible night's sleep, was super upset about having to vote people out, was
How
really
about that?
missing her family. So I feel like that was a safe pick. I think Emily at that point for the first one was just trying to have a safe pick.
Yeah, like
Um,
everyone would have picked her probably. So
Mhm. And then I think she chose Katura because that's probably the person that she's the closest with that's not a Reba. And so that there's not so that she's not just taking the Reba people and then all of the Bellows think, oh, there's no way Emily wants to work with me. She didn't pick me. She's working with the Rebas. Like, let's try to get her out or something like that.
yeah,
I think that was the reason for Katura. And then I think D was just to make it a girls' night. I think she already picked two girls, and like let's just add a third one so that the guys like understand like the will understand more so than if they left D there and took a guy.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
And it was smart because they separated the types of people who would try to work together. Like there, even though the guys had a great night together, there was no shot in hell that any of them were going to form some sort of alliance and try to take out one of the girls.
Yeah, no,
So leaving them back at camp, Emily knows for certain that none of them are trying to make a move against her
yeah,
to work together. Or even if they are thinking about it, they need the girls on their side because the guys aren't going to vote together. So I thought, however, the reasoning was, I think it was a smart play.
hmm yeah. I mean, I think it was a smart play too. Make it a girls' night. Can't really say anything about that. But at
Yeah.
the sanctuary, man, Katura blows Bruce's cover, man. He's fucked.
Oh yeah, and that's where I think the whole plan to get rid of Julie was never going to work, or to get rid
Yeah.
of Reba was never going to work because I think Emily was truly considering it, working with Katura, Bruce, and Jake. But once Katura just unprompted just said like, "Let's get Bruce out," and Bruce is going to try to sell this lie, but he does still have the idol. Let's try to get him out. I think at that point, Emily was like, okay, there's no way Katura and Bruce are going to work together. So I have to just forget about that plan and try a new plan, which was to get Bruce not to play his idol.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Katura says like that she has no loyalty to Bruce, still wants him out, and asks if when they split the vote between Jake and Bruce to put more votes on Bruce just in case he doesn't play the idol. And that ended up being a smart play because he didn't play the idol and Bruce ended up going home.
Yep. That's it. And that's all she wrote for Bruce.
Yeah, exactly. And then so Bruce during the boys' night, Bruce was telling Jake how he wants D out to try to save himself because he has no idol. And then Jake wants to separate from Bruce so that he doesn't become a target. So, but in reality, he's always going to be a target. Like he has been a target many rounds in a row. He's just been lucky that he hasn't been the direct vote.
Yeah,
But
poor Jake is like Romeo out there right now.
oh my God, seriously. Yeah, it's tough. I feel for Jake.
Number one overall, man. I don't know that's gonna I don't know that it's he would have to do some crazy shit.
Although the jury loves him.
Well, that's the thing. That's
So
my thing. Like, that's why, like, if he's there with like
if
I don't
he's able to somehow get agency, if he can make one move against Ariba before the at the end game, maybe the underdog story plus one big move could get him the win with the jury. Who knows?
like what happens if like he's there with Katura, does something that Katura doesn't do, and he's sitting with Drew, and let's just say like the jury just doesn't like Drew. Like
Exactly.
that's a Jake. There's a Jake win maybe.
Exactly. So it's not a 0.0% chance.
Yes,
You gotta keep hope alive.
Jake O'Kane. Jake O'Kane. Oh boy.
We definitely got to get a beer with Jake O'Kane. But yeah, so he tells Drew what Bruce said about his idol, and I thought it was really funny the conversation with Drew and Austin after finding out this information. They were so excited.
Yeah, dude, that's like I feel like that's like a thing you have with like your best friend when you find out like you don't have homework. And you're like, yes, let's go. Like we don't have fucking homework. Like I heard the teacher's gonna be absent tomorrow, and then you find out it's just all a lie, and you're like, the teacher is coming in tomorrow. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So then they get the letters from home at the sanctuary. Emily's someone who doesn't believe you need to be married, but now is considering getting married. Good for her. I think her and her boyfriend are super cute. Like,
Yeah.
I hope they end up continuing to stay together. Maybe they do get married, maybe they don't. But what I thought was really interesting was Katura gets a letter from her mom, who she cut off contact with about a year ago, and she didn't really know emotionally how to feel about it. I can't believe that Survivor allowed her mom to send her a letter and fuck with her brain like that.
Yeah, that was fucked up. They should have
That
never
is
given
fucked
that
up.
letter. They
That
should
was
have never given that letter because at the end of the day, like producers could have came up to like let's just say like after the game or after she gets voted out or after like if she's at final tribal and maybe wins, you never know. But after the game ends, maybe like production could have been like, hey, I know your relationship with your mother is this. she wrote you a letter. We didn't want to give it to you on the show, but would you like it?
Hmm.
She could be like, no, that's okay. Thank you. Or, yeah, I'll take it and read it in my own time, my own privacy when I can process. Not there, like, you have a bunch of cameras out there, you're starving, you're on Survivor. Like, the game in itself is a torturous toll over you mentally and physically and emotionally. That just adds a layer of like so much shit because she could have got that like not on Survivor and it could have fucked her up. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
oh,
And like, I don't know, maybe Survivor didn't know about that, but like, I feel like with the evaluations that you have to do to get on Survivor, I feel like that would have came out because you have to do some sort of psych evaluation.
yeah, I mean, the first thing they asked, like one of the first things Survivor wants to know about you is tell us about, your family. Tell us
Mhm,
about where you come from, you know?
exactly.
No,
So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was it was not a good idea on production's part, but
no, it was not.
oh well. So the girls come back, say how it feels like they're coming back to their husbands, which I think is really funny. If we were to pair them up,
I
husband
was
and
just
wife,
gonna say that.
yeah, what would we be thinking?
All right, it's gonna be Austin and D.
Hell yeah, of course.
It's going to be Julie and Bruce because of age. Even though
Exactly.
Bruce and Katura would be funny because they'd be like that married couple that hates each other. I'm
Yep.
gonna go Katura
And Jake.
and Jake.
And then Drew and Emily, because Drew and Emily are close.
Yeah, Drew and Emily.
And then Jake and Katura are Bellows. So I feel like that would be the husband wife
Nah,
combination. Yeah. Um,
closest thing to it out there. Yeah.
exactly. So then Emily's talking with Drew and says how the Kellie having Bruce's idol was a lie. Um, and then Emily is really smart to be honest with Jake. Because it's good jury management when he's on the jury. That and he'll have respect for her. I think that's a really smart move. Pretty much going up to Jake and saying how everyone really wants him out. Like if Bruce plays the idol, like you're screwed. And he is the takeaway he gets is he thinks he's really close to Drew, and she doesn't go out and say Drew wants you out, but she did say that everyone wants you out, and then Jake's like, "Oh, really, Drew?" And then it was like everybody. So pretty much saying it was Drew without actually saying it was Drew, which I thought was smart. And now Jake's very surprised by that and wants to pitch Drew's name to Julie, which I don't know. I think it's kind of stupid to pitch it to Julie. But
Yeah, I mean, especially when we saw a couple episodes back where like Julie was so adamant on getting Jake and was like, "I'll never work with Jake."
yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Like sometimes I just don't know where these relationships stand. Sometimes I don't know what the working relationship really looks like. So it's kind of hard to sit here and podcast and dissect it sometimes when we don't know for sure. But from what I knew is that Julie wanted no parts of working with Jake, and Jake knows that. Like
Mhm.
Jake knows that. Like they had a conversation. It wasn't like a confessional. Like she's literally like told him like, like you done fucked up, write my name. Julie's a fucking boss. I don't know if you saw the previews for the next episode, but she's like man up and face me. So I'm here. I'm curious to see who she's
Really?
talking about. Julie can win this game.
Yeah, I thought Julie had zero chance, but apparently people are thinking
The
that.
jury loves her. If Julie
Yeah.
makes it to the end, she's
Uh,
probably winning.
is that true? I mean, it seemed like Kellie and Kendra were pretty upset.
Yeah, but I think that they'll respect it.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Um, so yeah, Julie ends up telling this to Drew, and we get one of the greatest scenes of Survivor, honestly. It was so
Yeah,
funny. Well, this whole entire episode was just a comedy skit. Like seriously, like
I
there's so
know.
many things in this episode that are just so funny and so stupid. But yeah, Drew confronts Jake, says he's been batting for him every vote, and that he's the next target because he has no allies, and he asks Jake who he talked to about his name, and Jake says, "I think our conversation is done."
See, I
That
think this is Drew's problem though. Drew, I feel like Drew makes it apparent that like he only cares about his alliance. Like he just like
Right.
he's using Jake, and I think Jake knows that, and he's like offended in a sense of like, what do you like? He's like, it only is like, I love when Jake was like, "What, you don't like hearing your name sucks?" And
Uh-huh.
he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
his little like eyebrow raise and his way. I'm like, dude, I love this dude. Like, he is so funny. Like, he's embracing the bottom. Like, he's embracing like the, that nobody wants to work with me. Like, I love his fight right now. I think, I don't know that he can win, but I think there's a world where he crawls his way to the end, which would be fun to see.
Yeah,
But I love this
yeah.
conversation too because it shows that like it shows how real it is out there in a sense. Like they were like talking to each other like they were friends, like brothers almost. He's like, all right, mobster, fucking idiot, asshole. You know what I mean? Like he's like
Uh,
fucking loser.
yeah, Drew thinks that Jake's this big mobster that departed. Our conversation is over. Like that was so funny, that confessional.
So good.
Oh, so good.
I love it.
It was great. It was definitely one of my favorite scenes to watch. And then calls him a goon. It was great. And then right after that, we go into the immunity challenge. And when we come back from our commercial break, we will dive into the immunity challenge, the strategy of the vote, and why Bruce is an idiot.
Yeah, all love Bruce, but
Yeah, we love you, Bruce, but yeah, it was tough.
all right, it is Survivor Troubled Lines trivia time. And your question, remember, send us an answer via DM and you'll be in the running for a Survivor gift. It's going to be awesome. So, your question this week is, it's been a while, long, long time since we did the Outcast twist on Survivor. Name the two players who were voted back into the game and what season did the Outcast twist take place? Let us know. Welcome back to the Tribe Alliance podcast, episode 10 recap. We appreciate everyone who's been listening with us thus far. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. It helps us, and we want to know what you guys are thinking about the season of Survivor as well. We get into this immunity challenge. Jeff, makes a lot of weird analogies. We kind of went over them earlier, but Steve, let us know how this immunity challenge kind of went down.
Yeah. So first off, with the whole immunity challenge setup, I thought it was really unfair because once you get to the last position, it becomes whoever has the most upper body strength, and there was pretty much guarantees that a woman is not going to win. It like D fell once we got to that point. D fell right away. If any of the other girls were still in it, they would have fell right away. I think they need to do some challenges that are more of an even playing field. I feel like, yeah, I mean, Julie has been doing amazing, so good for her the last two challenges before this one, but a lot of them seem to be strength based, and I think they might be doing it because they wanted to give the stronger people a chance to make it further in the game. I don't know, but I'm hoping to see some puzzles and some other immunity challenges that are possible for women to win, because this specific one I feel like was 100% going to be Austin or Bruce, like no matter
Yeah,
what.
that's what it ended up being, right? Austin
Yeah.
versus Bruce. Austin finally dethrones the king. The immunity king of Survivor 45 was Bruce thus far. Austin finally wins immunity. I'm glad Austin finally won immunity. I was waiting for him to win a freaking immunity. So this felt like one that was going to be, Austin's bread and butter. And Austin now has 3 tribals left with 2 idols, similar to our boy James Clement. So
Yeah.
hopefully, not the same outcome for my boy Austin. Hopefully, he actually plays the idols. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully.
exactly. Hopefully it's not actually James Austin getting blindsided here. He plays the idols correctly. I don't think he's going to be targeted Austin at this tribal, so I would bet so much money that he makes Final Four. I don't think he's going to be the one going home in Final 7, and then I think he's going to idle his way to the Final Four. So that'll be interesting. I think I wonder if he plays his idol for a Reba member in this upcoming.
He's gonna save D.
That would be interesting.
I love her. He's gonna save her.
I wouldn't be opposed if a Reba is going to be targeted and not go home. I want it to be some crazy idol play.
Yeah.
For sure. But something I also thought was interesting at the challenge was Bruce was on the purple colored ramp, same color as Tika, and this is the episode that he went home, just like when he became a Tika member, he went home. Purple is not his color, you know.
No, Bruce, avoid purple at all costs,
Yeah, absolutely.
or wear a helmet if you're around anything purple.
So Jeff, like I was saying in the very beginning of this podcast, Jeff says that this is a fun challenge that you might do at a carnival for laughs while you're having a scone. And then Jake says, "What carnival have you seen this at?" Like, I think it's so funny that Jeff said that. Like, it made no sense at all. Like, this is one of the most out of pocket things that Jeff has said, and he said a lot of out of pocket things.
Yeah.
And one big thing that has nothing to do with who won immunity that happened in this immunity challenge, Katura, she was scared of falling into the water, steps out of the challenge, doesn't even fall into the water. But then after you have to go to the vote after the immunity challenge, was able to swim perfectly fine. I was so shocked. I was like, what the hell is going on? Are you kidding me, Katura? Like, you were afraid you weren't even that high. You weren't even that far away from
I don't think it was a fear of like the height or anything. I think it was everything from the like I think she was just having like a panic moment. Like in that moment. Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with like the letter from her mother and things because like she was probably just like not in a position to compete.
Okay, that could
You
be
know what
it.
I mean? And
Yeah,
then
that would make sense because I have no idea how any other reasoning besides that would cause her to act that way.
yeah, but I'm glad that she was able to like get through that moment. It's a hard out there, man. It's tough. Like, Brandon was out there, it was like day 2, like, like struggling, you know what I mean? Like it's hard, and like Survivor's real, it's hard, and that's why we get like so many good, stories from this show, so many, beautiful moments of people like overcoming things because it really puts you in an element that's very foreign to yourself. It's very unnatural to live this way. So I was glad she was able to get through it, but at first I was kind of just like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we get back from the challenge. Everyone knows that Bruce has an idol. Everyone knows that there is no shot he does not play the idol to save himself. Katura throws out the idea of Julie as the backup vote instead of maybe Jake, because she's the mama and everyone loves the mama. She would give $1 million to Mama Julie if she could. So that's why she wants to get her out. I thought it was funny what Katura said to Julie about what this game is. That she says it's a sick, twisted, disgustingly, ridiculously delicious, enjoyable, terrifying game. I think
That should have been the episode title.
that should have been the episode title. That would have been so funny. But I think she describes it really well.
Sums it up for sure.
Yeah. So Emily tells Bruce that Julie isn't with him and is now okay with writing Julie down with Emily, Katura, and Jake. Emily is so good at telling people the truth and getting them to like not tell other people that it was her. Like, so she'll tell someone the truth, but they won't go and say, Emily just told me this. And now everyone respects Emily for telling them the truth and being straight up with them. Emily, if she makes it to the end, could possibly beat these Rebas. I don't know.
Well, like, Emily is everything that Emily does is very intentional. Very important. And she's going to be able to articulate it. She's very dangerous. She's probably the most dangerous player. I know there's a 4-person alliance, but when there's 4 people, how do you differentiate all the things if you guys don't break up at any point?
Yeah, and she can say a lot that's different than the Rebus. So
there's no way she makes it to the end, because if she makes it to the end, she's going to win, and that'd be awesome. But if they let her get to the end, these Reba 4 do not deserve the credit that everyone's been giving them. If one of them doesn't win, this is bad. They have to make a move on. They have to make someone in that core 4 has to make a move on someone else in their 4, and then someone from that 4 has to win, or it's all just bad.
Oh yeah, 100%. So Jake asks Bruce if he still has the idol, and he says yes. And the reasoning for why he lied to Jake was like, this is it's a survivor. You gotta
I'd
do
be
what you
like, yo, Bruce, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, be real. Like that pissed me off, dude.
I would
Like,
have pissed you off.
yeah.
That was bad. And then Jake was frustrated because he was lied to by Bruce of all people. I thought that was really funny confessional.
Big man. Take
And he's upset that he can't trust anyone. Seems like everyone's lying to him, even Bruce. So he's
because
having
they are. No one has his back.
nobody. Yeah. And but Bruce gives him a nice little pep talk, which I thought was nice. But um, yeah, it sucks for Jake right now. He's in a tough spot. But I don't know. I just have a weird feeling in the back of my head that he's gonna be in the final three. I don't know. Or or
Yeah.
or he's gonna to get taken out, but like I don't know. He's the kind of player who should be taken out early in the merge, but just somehow survives every tribal council by no help of their own.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it
I
it's
mean, I do think that he's been able to like stick around for some reason, but there's a reason that he's the backup vote every single time. He has no allies. Like he has no allies. And I think it all comes down to that Bello tribe just being a mess from the beginning. Like or especially ever since like the Brando vote, like ever since the swap, that tribe has stunk. I thought they were gonna be the best tribe of the season. Like I thought when we opened the season up, I thought the Bellows were gonna be the end gamers. I not what I wanted, but what I expected to see was like a final six of like Kellie, Brando, Bruce. Um, you know,
you thought Bruce.
yeah, just because I thought he was going to be someone that was going to be drugged to the end by like his alliance.
Hmm.
Um, Bruce ended up being a totally different player than I expected as well.
Oh, 100%. I did not expect him to be like
I
that.
thought Bruce was going to be boring.
I did too. I was like confused why he was on the Tika tribe in 44.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to be boring, just like a regular like dude. He was great. He was great, like great TV. Like I might say all this stuff about Bruce, but like I love Bruce as a character. Do I think he's the smartest Survivor player? Absolutely not. But I loved watching him, and I think there's a world where he plays again. Third time.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't.
Jeff loves him too.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff loves him.
Yeah.
And Emily is doing such a great job making him feel safe.
Yeah.
Like I don't have specific like instances of this, but like there were like 3 or 4 different times throughout the episode that it showed her like whatever she said to Bruce, like if I was Bruce, I would have believed her also. Like she was really convincing that the plan was going to go down the way it is. Oh, I think she said how like if if we can't get Julie out, like I'm screwed. Like if we're gonna go through this plan, but if this plan doesn't work, I'm screwed, and you're screwed. And saying like, oh shoot, like if this doesn't work, I'm gonna be screwed. Well, the reason if that you would be screwed is because you were obviously planning on doing the plan. So I think she did a really good job convincing Bruce. But while I was watching all these Emily confessionals about Bruce not playing his idol, I thought it was so stupid. I thought it was just to fill time, just to make another storyline. I thought there was no way in hell that Bruce would not play his idol here. I thought he knows everyone's been lying to him. There's a good chance that everyone's still lying to him, and he ends up not playing his idol.
He's blindsided in a sense too. Like he's blindsided. He's doesn't play the idol. Like I said earlier, he was 99% sure that he was going to play it. I don't know what. And he said he was getting closer to playing it when like something that Drew said maybe didn't even make the edit, but something that like Drew may have said that may have like tipped him in a direction of like playing it, but then like looking at Emily and being like assured to not play it. And then I think he just froze up, didn't play it, and trusted Emily in that moment.
Mhm.
I think Bruce was more inclined to believe because where the numbers stood at that point too. Because, I think if this is earlier,
There, you're screwed.
yeah.
Which is why in even though as a viewer I was like, oh my God, Bruce is 100% going to play it. Cause like, why wouldn't you? Cause you know, you're on the bottom. I think for his game, with everyone constantly wanting to target him and with him having already won 2 immunities, even if the jury hates him, like he's still seen as a threat because of his idol, of his 2 immunity wins. And the chance that he could possibly win in the future and then become even a bigger threat. So I think for his game, for him to have any chance of making it to the end, it was smart for him not to play it, because if the plan did go the way it was supposed to,
Yeah, he has an extra.
then he still has his idol. He gets out of Reba and he moves into the final 7, where he could possibly win immunity and then be able to play his idol at 6, or play his idol at 7 and then be able to win immunity at 6. I think if what actually he thought was happening happened, it would have been a smart play. And that's why I think it was smart that he didn't play it. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that everyone was obviously lying to him, which he should have figured out.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I thought it was also kind of crazy that Jeff said to Julie that being called mama is a beautiful gesture until it's threatening.
Yeah,
Like,
don't say that.
like
Jeff.
why?
Influence
What if
anything.
nobody was thinking that being called mama was a threatening thing? Now you just put it in their head. I feel like some of the things he says to prompt people to say certain things, as a viewer, I feel like you're making people think about, oh shoot, like maybe he is a threat, or maybe she is a threat, when they weren't originally thinking that. So
Yeah, you should have no like. It's got to be neutral the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the jury's reactions, that whole tribal, when every single vote, literally every single vote, they showed the jury after
Yeah.
every, and they always had a different reaction. They like, some of them thought Jake was going home, and then Kellie's like, no, it can't be Jake, it can't be Jake. And then Julie gets a vote, and Kellie is floored. She's so shocked, thinking that now it's going to be Julie. And then they see Bruce, and they're like, oh my God, is this about to happen? Another Bruce, another Bruce. They start celebrating on the jury. I think that was, they should have calmed the fuck down. Like, are you kidding me? Showing how happy you are that someone just got voted out. Like, that's, I don't know. That's like
I think they're celebrating because they're like Bruce is the reason I'm on the jury. Like,
I guess,
like
yeah.
Bruce was impossible to work with, and it just fucked my game. But regardless,
I would have been happy on the inside, like screaming on the inside.
yeah, I'm not sure that I'd be like, yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think Kendra literally like stood up that she was so happy. Like I don't know. I thought it was a little overboard, but they're good. This is why we need Ponderosa back. Oh my God, how crazy would the Ponderosa be when Bruce comes in with Kendra and Kellie there? And
I think Caleb.
oh my God, I can't believe they got rid of Ponderosa.
I think they're gonna do like 101. Like I think they'll do like an Instagram video type thing. Like,
So they did one for Caleb, but it was just a Caleb.
We'll
Like
see.
it was just like him doing a selfie video.
Yeah.
I don't know what Kellie's was or Kendra's. Maybe they included other people. We'll see. But yeah. So he gets voted out 4-3-1. And now we let's get into the scenes from the next episode. So Dee and Austin seem like they're having a little flirt mance.
We get that in every preview and then barely see it in the episode.
I know. I want to see more. I want to see more.
I feel like that's been a narrative for like 3 weeks now, but like we never see anything really come of it other than like little like comments.
We're gonna see more of it when Dee is officially targeted. Like we hear her name in almost every episode, but she's never actually one of the possible names to be voted out.
Yeah.
So once she actually, it's between Dee and someone else, I feel like we'll see a lot of that. But Drew says he wants to target Julie. Dee's game is in Julie's hands. It's making it seem like it's going to be a Reba next round, but you know what they do with the edits? They always make it seem like someone's going home and they're not going to. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jake or Katurah goes home. I wouldn't be surprised even if Emily goes home.
I really want to see Reba go home.
I would love to see Reba go home.
I hope it's Drew.
I
have Drew on my podcast fantasy draft, but I just think it would be the best move for Drew to go.
I think it would be a good. Well, I don't know. I feel like D would be a better move. Drew. I've been super high on the last few episodes. I have had him as my winner pick for the last few episodes. I thought he was going to make it very far, and I think he's playing a great strategic game. The problem is, the more the more the episodes get closer to the end, I feel like he has a smaller and smaller chance of getting jury votes.
Yeah.
I think the way he strategically thinks about the game is very like superior compared to everyone else. But the way he talks to people, I don't think it's going to be seen as well as maybe the way Austin talks to people or the way Julie talks to people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if Drew makes it to the end with another Reba, I could see, even though he was a strategic mastermind, I could see him not getting the jury votes and having the other person get jury votes because of a better social game.
Social game is very important, especially in the new era.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's get into the survivor pool picks. So we started off with 9 people in my league. We now have only 4 left. We have Pat Johnson.
Me.
We got Jared Raw. We have my mom has made it to the final 4, and Shane Robinson. So that's our final 4 right now. Pat can choose between D, Jake, and Katura. Jared only has D left to choose from. So it's looking like Jared's not going to win. My mom has Drew and Emily left to choose from, and Shane has Austin and Jake left to choose from. So, Pat, who are you going to pick for episode 11? You have D, Jake, and Katura.
Jake.
Okay. All right. I think that's smart. I don't necessarily think Jake is going to be the one going home, but who knows?
I don't think Jake. I think I could see Katura going over Jake this week if one of them. If you told me it was one of those two, I would say Katura. And I think, although I don't think a Reba or a D blindside is going to happen, I think that D or Drew would be the person that gets blindsided out of the Reba 4.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jake.
Okay. I feel like Jake is high risk, high reward because
Yeah.
I personally think he's either going to be voted out next episode or he's making it really far. I don't know if there's much middle ground. I don't see him being like someone that people would want to get out at the final 5, like
Yeah.
right before fire making. So I feel like it's going to be this episode, next episode, or the episode coming up, final 6 episode, or it's going to be he's making it to the end.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that works out for you. Best of luck.
Thanks. What a win.
Oh yeah, right. I mean, you're in the best spot right now. You have 3 people left to choose from, but
Could ruin it with one pick.
yeah, I think let's see. If Jake does go home next week, my mom will win automatically
Was that?
because Shane has Austin and Jake to choose from. So regardless of who he chooses, he'll be eliminated once Jake is gone because then he'll have nobody left to choose from. You would be eliminated for choosing Jake, and Jared only has D left. So my mom would have at least one person left to choose from after the week. So she's gonna be rooting for Jake to get voted out, I guess. So we'll see what happens. So it is we just finished episode 10, and all the way back preseason, we had a 6-person fantasy draft for the podcast. And I wanted to talk about who people still have left. The person who thought they drafted so well and actually has nobody left. So let's go over that. So right now in the best spot in number wise is Pat. He has all 3 people he drafted left. He has Jake, Drew, and Katura. The only problem is I don't know if any of them have a good shot at winning.
No, I think Jared has the winner.
Yeah. So Madison has Austin left. Jay West has Julie. Jared has D, which is Pat's winner pick right now. I have Emily and Mr. Govind, who is talking a lot of shit during the draft. has nobody left. He is eliminated. He didn't get the grenade, so I guess he did a good job not losing an extra $20. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's not winning the $100 or so. But so that's tough for him. But what do we think? You said you already think Jared's gonna win because of D.
I think D or Emily are gonna win. Those are my two
The fact
winners.
that I got stuck with Emily, I didn't even draft Emily. I got stuck with her,
Might be the
and
best thing that's happened to you.
it might have been the best thing. When you asked who thinks they have the grenade, I was the only person to raise my hand, and I said I think Emily's the grenade, and Emily might actually win the season for me. That would be so wild.
It would be. What a That would come very full circle in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
All right, Pat. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I just want to use this time to thank you, Steve, for chatting Survivor. It's always a fun time. My LRG friends or people that are interested, I just played in a game, Survivor Angelica, not too long ago. I've talked about it in the past on the pod here, but episodes are now on YouTube. I'll make that accessible via link in the description below. And not only that, they are taking applicants. So if you're looking to apply to a really intense fun, well organized, put together game. Survivor Angelica, they're looking for people. So yeah, be that person to apply and do it up.
There we go. Yeah, definitely apply to Survivor Angelica. I also recently played in a game, Survivor Brantford, and the first episode of my season 9, is coming out on January 13th.
Oh,
So
sick.
definitely get ready to check that out in a little bit over a month. And they are also accepting applicants on their website, survivorbrantford.com/apply. You can also check them out, Survivor Brantford, on Instagram. I definitely would suggest applying. It's so much fun. I had a great time, and I know you guys would too.
Absolutely. Yeah, heard a lot of good things about that game. So I might have to apply myself. You never know.
You should. You should.
All right, all right.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you back here for episode 11.
See y'all.
See ya.